Hari Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So previous time we were speaking about the different kinds of taste in devotional service, or ruchi, and basically we spoke that there are two kinds of ruchi. The first kind of ruchi is when the devotee is very much dependent on the external situation. In other words, in order to really enjoy Krishna consciousness, everything should be done in a very particular way. For example, the tune of the kirtan should be very specific. The voice of the person who is leading should be very sweet, and so on and so on. Now, the second kind of ruchi that we spoke previous time of is non-dependent from the external situations. Means that anyway, the devotee has such a strong taste that he will enjoy the kirtan, he will enjoy the devotional activities, and if the good conditions are there, like a sweet melody or a nice kirtan leader, then he will enjoy even more. And then we spoke about asakti, which means attachment to Krishna. And one thing we were saying about the difference between ruchi, taste, and asakti, attachment, is that generally on the level of ruchi, devotee has a really strong taste to the activities of devotional service themselves. And on the level of asakti, the devotee gradually start moving his attention more and more towards Krishna. Not that he doesn't enjoy devotional service, but more and more his attention is going towards Krishna himself. He's developing his personal attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And today we will take the last two showers of Madhurya Kadambini. 8th Bhava and Prema, 7th and 8th showers of nectar.
When a Sakti achieves extreme maturity, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, it is called Rati or Bhava. So Rati is another name of Bhava. So Bhava is the immature budding stage of the Prema. So Bhava is described in Nectar of Devotion as a ray of the spiritual potency of the Lord, specifically Hladini and Samvit potency. Hladini means bliss and Samvit means knowledge. This potency enters the mind of the devotee and permeates the mind of the devotee to such an extent that it kind of becomes the mind of the devotee, substitutes the mind. So the devotee doesn't have material mind anymore. He has spiritual mind, just like Mahaprabhu. His mind was so spontaneously attracted to Krishna that he was thinking that this is that he's in Vrindavana, and this is Govardhana, while he was in Jagannath Puri. So this happens by the mercy of the Lord. So Bhava cannot be earned by any kind of material endeavors or qualifications, and only by the mercy of the Lord can be attained. And the mercy of the Lord is attained by paying the price, which is very intense desire, greediness to attain love of God. The Acharyas explained that actually Bhava is the bhakti actually begins to manifest from the stage of Bhava, and the bhakti proper is prema. So before that, we are practicing devotional service before Bhava and prema. Of course, this is not to discourage us, but to sometimes the acharyas they say these things just to put the things in proper perspective. So, as we spoke already in previous lectures, Bhava has two qualities, and they are sudurlava, rarely achieved. It is very rarely achieved. And moksha lagutagrit derives even the conception of the happiness derived from liberation. So Bhava is such a stage of consciousness that which attracts Krishna already, invites Krishna. Of course, the full manifestation of this attraction is at the level of prema. But Bhava is, because Bhava is the internal potency of the Lord. So the internal potency has the power to attract the Lord. Therefore, the devotee becomes attractive to Krishna. Just like in the previous stage, Krishna became very attractive to the devotee. When this happens, then the devotee becomes attractive. And Krishna wants to see the devotee. Therefore, at the level of Bhava, there is a glimpse the devotee can see for a moment the Lord. And this creates even stronger desire to experience the Lord in the devotee. Then he feels separation, etc. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that at the appearance of Bhava, even the Chandala becomes worthy of respect from Lord Brahma. Even the Chandala.
So that means this is already above the material designations.
Yeah, liberation.
If once Bhava appears in the heart of the devotee, you cannot classify him according to his material situation. He is totally transcendental.
Mm-hmm. So here there is some, we will read a little bit. Having obtained the most precious jewel of Bhava, the devotee tries to hide it like a miser from the ordinary people. However, so the devotee who is advanced doesn't like to show off his advanced stage of devotional service. However, the famous logic says that a bright face reveals hidden wealth. The face is the index of the mind. This advanced devotees will recognize his internal status. They'll recognize that he's on this high level. Common people, however, being unable to discern these qualities, will conclude that this person is crazy, or at least that he's absent-minded. So this is, we spoke the last time about this. It's another, we have to pay the price. That means we cannot expect that we will be highly recognized by the materialists and at the same time be very advanced in devotional service. We cannot be ordinary man or woman and the acharya at the same time. We have to make our choice. Of course, sometimes it is possible. Like, for example, Yudhishthira Maharaj. He was the emperor of the world. And at the same time, he was the most advanced devotee. But
generally, it's not.
Generally, yeah. So, yeah.
I just wanted to mention that Bhava, once the devotee is actually on the level of Bhava, his actions, they are kind of unpredictable, and also you cannot judge according to the external actions of the person on what kind of level he's. This can be.
It takes one
bewildering.
to recognize one.
Yes. And also other important thing for Bhava is that basically Bhava means that the spiritual energy of the Lord, Hladini Shakti, enters in the heart of the devotee. And that's why he becomes so attractive to Krishna. Not that we don't have on our own good qualities as the jivas who are dedicated to spiritual practice, spiritual process. We definitely do. But actually why we have them, the main reason is because we have this spiritual energy manifested in our heart. This is what makes us actually attractive for the attention of Krishna. That's the interesting point.
Yes. So, Mahatmanastamam Parta Daivim Prakriti Marshita. So, if we are not on this level, then shouldn't be worried. Nothing we can do about it anyway.
Just go on with the devotional service.
It's not.
When the mercy comes, it comes.
We cannot force Krishna to. We cannot do anything with you to attain this level. Just we have to perform very sincerely our devotional service with intense desire to attain bhava. So there are two types of bhava. One comes from raga bhakti, and the second from vaidhi bhakti. Okay, I guess this is clear. So this one that comes from raga bhakti is stronger, more intense, and from vaidhi bhakti is somewhat. Here the expression is somewhat lesser in quality and quantity, with a type of affection for the Lord mixed with perception of the Lord as the Almighty God. So it's not so intense. We are practicing sadhana bhakti, so we're practicing vaidhi bhakti. So then somebody might say, well, then we will attain this raga that arises from vaidhi. No, because we might be practicing vaidhi, but our goal is to attain raga nuga, sadhana bhakti, and then to attain bhava based on raga. So this is our goal. And if this is our goal, Krishna will fulfill the sincere desire of his devotees. There is no other way to attain raga than through vaidhi for us. Therefore, in ISKCON, we can say that we are practicing raga nuga bhakti also. Because our goal is raga. Our goal is not Vaikuntha, our goal is Goloka. So here, there are 5 types of devotees according to the bhava, the sthayi bhava, in which they are acting. These are, as we know, Shanta, Dasa, Sakka, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. So we call these the 5 rasas. Technically, they're called the 5 sthayi bhavas. Sthayi bhava means the main mood, the main attraction, the main type of love in which the devotee acts towards Krishna.
Wants to serve.
Yeah, the way he wants to serve, or she wants to serve Krishna. So maybe just we'll make a very short overview of this, just to explain the terms. They are elaborately explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion. Okay, first we have what is called Vibhava. Vibhava has 2 components. One is Krishna and the devotee. Krishna is, what was the term? The Vishaya, the enjoyer, and the devotee is the Ashraya. The devotee is the shelter of the specific mood, and Krishna is the enjoyer of this mood. So this is the first component of Vibhava, and the second one is called Alambana. Alambana means this. It's called Udipana. Alambana is the first one. So the Udipana means the stimulus for experiencing this love, this mood, and this can be the beauty of Krishna, the fragrance of his body, Krishna's smile, his specific particular age, his friends,
how he dances on his flute, how he
yes,
plays on his
how
flute,
he, yeah, all these
or
things,
how he dances.
or different objects that reminds us about Krishna. All right, so this is Vibhava with the two components. And then when this udipanas, or the stimuli for experiencing this love, when they are active, then what follows is called anubhava. Anubhava means what follows the bhava. So anu means to follow. So when the devotee experiences the beauty of Krishna, for example, when he sees Krishna, then he reacts in a certain way. And these reactions, they are described, what kind of reactions are there, what are the anubhavas. Some of them are, for example, he can start to dance, to sing, etc. In ecstasy of love of God. So this is called anubhava. And there are different types of anubhavas. We won't go into detail, but the important thing to understand is that although they're completely spontaneous, still the intelligence takes part in acting out these anubhavas. Although you spontaneously do it, still you have to use your intelligence.
Deciding, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Spontaneously you start to dance. It's spontaneous, but the intelligence works. This is anubhava. But there are other reactions also of this udipana stimuli, and they're called Satchika Bhavas. And there, these reactions, these symptoms are they appear without any help from the intelligence. The intelligence doesn't, not that it doesn't work, but it doesn't play any role in manifesting these Satchika Bhavas. And there are 8. Crying,
trembling of the body.
I guess we all know those.
Yes.
And they appear just spontaneously in the body without any work done by the intelligence. It just happens directly. And it's a whole science. Rupa Goswami describes how when the water element is disturbed, we all pray for such disturbance. Then one will start to shed profusely tears. When the other elements are disturbed, then there will be other reactions, like one will become stunned, or etc. And there are different levels. There are 5 levels in Satchika Bhavas. The first level appear only one or two types of Satchika Bhavas appear, and one can conceal them. The second level, they appear more, and they are more difficult to conceal, only with great difficulty. Then the third level, they appear more, and they cannot be concealed. And then fourth and fifth. The fifth level is only Mahaprabhu and Srimati Radharani. All right, so, and then we have another bhavas. They're called Sancharibavas. They are 33 types, and they are moving in the opposite direction, so to say. They're moving against the current of the main bhava, and in this way they enrich the rasa, they enrich the experience of Krishna and the devotee. For example, sometimes Radharani gets angry at Krishna, so this is one of the Sancharibavas, Vyabhicharibavas. So all these things together, when they're combined, all these elements, the Sthaya Bhava of the devotee, then the Anubhavas, the Satchika Bhavas, the Vyabhicharibavas, when they're all combined, this is called a rasa. So when we say Madhurya Rasa, for example, it includes all of these components. Otherwise, if we just mean the particular way of attachment, of love of the devotee towards Krishna, then technical term should be Madhurya Sthaya Bhava. All right, so this was just short
Can I try to repeat them to see
Yes.
if I remember them properly?
Okay.
So that means that devotee, according to his relationship and mood of service for Krishna, he has a particular bhava,
Yes.
one of the five. And then when a devotee sees Krishna or something connected with Krishna that makes him enthusiastic to do particular way of devotional service, this is called vibhava. And then
It's called Anubhava, actually.
Anubhava.
What follows the bhava? And vibhava includes.
First he sees something, and then he reacts in a certain way.
That's Anubhava.
Okay. So first he sees something. This is vibhava. For example, Krishna or the devotees of Krishna.
This is part of vibhava. It's called udipana, the stimuli, and the other part is alambana, that means Krishna and the devotee.
Okay.
So this is vibhava.
So we have udipanas, the things that remind us of Krishna and stimulates our devotion.
Yes.
And then a devotee reacts in a certain way, which is a spontaneous reaction, but it's kind of intellectual. So this is called anubhava. Yes. But at the same time, sometimes devotee has another reaction, which is just really spontaneous without even thinking, which we know as Satchika Bhavas.
And
this is the crying, rolling on the ground, or
rolling on the ground. I was not Satchika Bhavas. Okay. Being stunned, crying, the hairs of the body, being trembling.
All these things. Okay.
Faltering of the voice, one cannot speak, like this. All this Satchika Bhavas.
And apart from this, there is other emotions which apparently are contradicting the main emotion that the devotee experiences, just to generate more his rasa, to make his rasa, to churn the nectar,
to distinguish, to make it more.
Like, for example, can we say devotee is attracted to Krishna, he wants to be with Krishna, but let's say externally a reason appears that he cannot be with Krishna. And these two emotions actually, they make his love becomes even more intense. Let's say Shrimati Radharani want to be with Krishna, but let's say some of the seniors in the village are there, and that's why she wants to be, but at the same time she cannot be, and this intensify her love and emotions. Okay.
So, Shruti text define rasa as the very essence of the Lord. Rasa vai saha. So the Lord is rasa himself, itself. Rasa swarupa. And attaining that rasa, the jiva becomes blissful. So this is the goal of life. To attain this rasa. When bhava first matures and begins to transform into prema, Krishna, who is the personification of rasa, is directly realized by the qualified devotees. So this is summary of bhava. And then the last one is prema. And again, we will just read through a few passages. And not much we can say about this. We can at least try to a certain extent to appreciate, develop some desire to one day to be on this elevated level. That's all we can do. So, yes.
Just wanted to add something, actually, two points. One point is, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also is mentioning that on this level, the devotee can get some idea what is his spiritual form.
On the level of bhava.
So basically, before that, we may think, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I like this, I like that. It's not 100% sure. Only when the devotee reaches this level, bhava, bhakti, then he understands actually what's his original spiritual form, what's his eternal way of service to Krishna, and so on and so on. And I just wanted to mention in regards to bhava and prema that, well, what does for us means bhava? I would say it means selfless service. This is because we know this is the essence of the whole idea of devotional service. We have to learn to serve Krishna selflessly. Completely everything for Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, and nothing for me. So basically, if we train ourselves, if we come to this level of always being ready to do whatever will please Krishna, and of course, how do we know what will please Krishna? Well, by hearing from our guru what will please Krishna. So basically, that means the moment we are ready to do anything and everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and Guru, we could say we are getting very close to the qualification to experience these higher realms of bhakti, of devotional service. So for us, this is very practical point. We just have to work on this idea that everything for Krishna, nothing for me. Let me just give pleasure to the senses of Krishna. And in this way, I'll be automatically happy.
Yeah, this everything for Krishna, nothing for me is may sound a little scary, but what actually happens is that by renouncing all worldly rewards, then Krishna doesn't have any other choice but to give himself to the devotee. So this is actually a
the price to pay.
And like when you go to the shop, in the shop, and then you ask for the best possible item, and then they may try to give you some lesser quality. But if you know what you want, then you say, no, I don't want this. I want the best. So Krishna may we see in Bhagavatam, Krishna sometimes offers different benedictions to his devotees, and they refuse. Material benedictions, even spiritual. Krishna himself, he says that my devotees don't want even the 4 types of liberation, let alone material things. So it is something similar. The devotee doesn't want anything, and he at the end he attains everything. But he shouldn't be attached to anything material. Otherwise, Krishna cannot give himself, because he wants something else. He don't want him. So this is behind this maybe a little scary slogan: everything for Krishna, nothing for me. Nothing for me, that means nothing of lesser quality for me. We don't want material garbage anymore. We got enough, millions of lifetimes. We just want Krishna. And what was the first thing you said? I forgot. The bhava. On the level of bhava, one knows already his swarupa, or at least he gets some glimpse. This verse from Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta, Prasanat Panashachati Nakangshati, Samak Sarveshu Bhutishum Bhad Bhaktim Lavate Param. Actually, for the devotees, this means bhava. And for the impersonalists, that means mukti. Because for the devotee, liberated stage is bhava. And then, as we heard already, the pure devotional service begins there, actually, the real devotional service. Until then, we're only practicing. And in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gop Kumara, he understands his name only when Krishna calls him by his real name, only after he attains Goloka, only then, not before that. Before that, he is Gop Kumara. And then Krishna calls him Sarupa in front of everybody. And this is how we know from this moment onwards, in the book, he is known as Sarupa. And Krishna explains also where is his position. He tells the other devotees there that he belongs to the family of Srimati Radharani. He's therefore Radharani's brother has to take him to her place. So it's very very late in the development of devotional service. All right, so prema, from the creeper of bhakti, which first sprouted 2 leaves during sadhana bhakti. So which were those 2 leaves? They were subhada, all auspiciousness, and kleshagni, the destruction of all
bad,
of all inauspiciousness, of bad things. So from there, now only 2 leaves were there. Then many more leaves appears. And then there, we mentioned before, like on the level of bhava, there were 2 more, very rare, is very rare, and sudurlabha, and that is, what was the other one? The
Moksha Gutta
that derives the happiness of liberation. Now more leaves are appearing. They appear in the form of anubhavas, the symptoms of ecstasy. These anubhavas are filled with the devotional processes, such as hearing and chanting, and shine brilliantly at every moment. First forming the flower called bhava, they finally bring forth the fruit called prema. So bhava is like the flower, and then the fruit is prema. But what is most astonishing about the creeper of bhakti is, though it leaves buds, flowers, and fruits mature into succeeding form. So first you have leaves, flowers, buds, flowers, and fruits. They do not give up their original forms. That means prema includes all characteristics of bhava, of asakti, of ruchi, of nishta, prema, shraddha. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada Acharyas explained that prema is concentrated shraddha. So that's one unique feature of prema. The devotees' innumerable thoughts, which were previously bound tightly by the ropes of attachment to family, relatives, house, and properties. Now, when prema appears, prema easily frees the thoughts from all those attachments. By its inherent power, prema transforms those material emotions into spiritually blissful elements, as if submerging them all in a deep well of transforming nectar. Similarly, all attachments become spiritualized. Sometimes we have impersonal concept about prema, about bhakti in general. We think that we have to renounce our emotions, to become emotionless. Still, as devotees, we may have this deeply rooted misconception.
Because we become disappointed from our experience with material emotions, and then somehow naturally we want to make the emotions in our spiritual life zero, so that
we're not disappointed anymore. We're not frustrated.
We don't suffer.
But here it is stated that the attachments become spiritualized. Then then prema binds the spiritualized emotions to the sweetness of the Lord's name, form, and qualities. So prema manifests its brilliance in this way and immediately puts all material ideals, purushartha, dhammartha, kama, moksha, to shame, as the sun puts to shame all the constellations in the sky. The nectar which comes from the fruit of prema has the essential quality of concentrated bliss. These are the 2 qualities of prema, Sandrananda Visheshatma, and its outstanding nourishing property is its power to attract Krishna Karshini. So the point is that actually prema is and bhakti is the perfection of emotional life. We won't lose anything. Actually, we will gain the real thing by surrendering to Krishna. We will actually experience, just like in Shikshashtaka, the nectar that we have been hankering for since time immemorial. This is what it is. So we shouldn't be afraid. Yes.
I just wanted to mention that if we look our life, we will see, if we look deeply, we will see that everything that we were doing through our life, everything, it was actually based, it was motivated on emotions, because we had very strong emotions towards someone or towards something. That's why we are ready to do anything and everything. But of course, because it was material motivation, so at the end always there is some problem. But
at
now,
the end, in the beginning,
even
in the middle,
in the beginning sometimes.
Adi Madhya Vasanishu.
But
beginning, middle, in the end.
But now in the realm of bhava and prema, a devotee, he can really experience the pure emotions. So these will be emotions that they will never go down. They will be always increasing, always bringing happiness to the devotee. And the other thing I wanted to say is that the happiness that we speak about on the level of prema is the same happiness that is on the level of bhava and the same happiness that is on the level of sadhana bhakti. But the quantity is different. It is the same thing, just it's increasing more and more and more and more. On the level of sadhana, it's called subhada, or auspiciousness. On the level of bhava, it's called moksha laguta krit. It's the devotee experience such an intense happiness that even the happiness coming from the liberation for him is like a joke. He doesn't have any attraction to it. And on the level of prema, the happiness is known as Sandrananda Visheshatma, extremely concentrated and intense experience that devotee is getting.
Yeah, it's not, when you read the description of prema, it's not a boring life. It's a very spiritually dynamic and intense experience. Like a miser, feverish for treasure, like a thief who has lost all sense of discretion out of absorption in his job, the devotee loses all sense of self-consciousness. Sometimes there is an impatience for obtaining the Lord, like a hunger which cannot be satisfied even by eating the most tasty foods day and night. The devotee burns like the sun by that anxiety. He is suited only by tasting the form, qualities, and sweetness of the Lord, which make a momentary appearance, like the coolness of thousands moons. The prema, okay. He considers friends as useless as a dry, overgrown well. So these are the material friends, though they are useless as dry well. And his household becomes like a thorn-filled forest, like a forest with thorns. Food becomes totally distasteful. If our food becomes totally distasteful, this might be a symptom that we have some serious disease, but it's not like that.
Or we ate so much before that we cannot feel the taste of the food anymore.
Yeah, there's this, one of the symptoms of bhava is, anyway. Praise from other devotees is like biting of a snake. Daily duties become difficult to perform, like death. All the limbs of his body become like an unmanageable burden. The consolation of his comrades is like poison. There is this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita when Srimati Radharani, she says, nobody can, according to Shastra, nobody can understand the suffering of somebody else. Truly. Nobody can understand. Therefore, my friends, my closest Sakis, they cannot understand how I feel. And only thing they can do is to tell me, friend, please be patient. That's all they can do. But what actually I'm experiencing, only I know. So even though he remains constantly awake, wakefulness is an ocean of repentance, and his sleep seems to be simply fleeing, destroying. Anyway, destroying from life, I don't know what it is. His body seems that, his life airs becomes as lifeless as roasted grains. What he previously took as his life's goal is abandoned as a great calamity. Even thinking of the Lord tears his body asunder. Then Prema, assuming the form of a magnet, attracts Krishna, the blackish Krishna, and makes him appear to the devotee for a moment. At that time, all the senses of the devotee become the receptacles of all the auspicious qualities of Krishna. His supreme beauty, fragrance, melody, youthfulness, testiness, audari, and karunya. So the devotee experiences Krishna through all of his senses. And even later on, it is said that the senses of the devotee, they become like we sing in the morning in the Brahma Samhita. They become just like the senses of Krishna. So with one sense, the devotee can experience what actually other senses normally experience. They become interchangeable. In order to, Krishna gives this special mercy to the devotee in order to give, in order to
opportunity to taste the sweetness of Krishna.
Yes. A traveler from tasting the extreme sweetness and ever freshness of these qualities of the Lord, a greater longing, which at every moment increases, is born in the devotee because of his prema. So the devotee is not satiated. Poetic words are not adequate to describe the ocean of transcendental bliss which appears at this time. A traveler on a desert path, burned by the sun's rays during the hot season, finds shelter in a cool place supplied with hundreds of vessels of ice water from a divine pool under the shade of a vast banyan tree, densely tangled with branches. So this is something like an analogy that will help us to try to understand a little bit, to appreciate. Okay, and then there is a description how the Lord appears and reveals gradually himself to the different senses of the devotee. First, Krishna reveals his beauty to the eyes of the devotee, and then the devotee faints because the beauty of the Lord is extraordinarily
amazing.
And then to console the devotee, the Lord next reveals his fragrance, and then the devotee again faints in bliss, and then the Lord reveals his voice. He speaks to the devotee, and he says, "Oh, my devotee, I am under your control. Don't be overwhelmed, but fully satisfy your desire by relishing me," etc., etc.
Read it.
All the senses become like ears to hear, and for the third time the devotee faints. At the beginning of the soon, the devotee then mercifully gives the touch of his lotus feet, his hands, and his breasts to the devotee, and reveals his fresh youthfulness. Saukaumarya to the devotee. To those in the mood of servitude, he bestows his lotus feet on their heads. To those in the mood of friendship, he grasps their hands with his. For those in the mood of parental affection, he wipes away their tears with his own hand. For those in the conjugal mood, he rewards them with his embrace, touching them with his hands and chest. Then the devotee's senses all take on the sense of touch, and the devotee faints for the fourth time. Like this.
Again and again.
Yeah. And then Krishna speaks to the devotee. He says first to himself, "Why am I holding so many wonderful qualities with myself? To let the devotee also partake in them all, the Lord manifests his Kripa Shakti, also called Anugraha, the superintendent of all the Shaktis, by which the devotee becomes attractive even to the Lord." So for us to become attractive to the Lord, Krishna has to give us mercy. Otherwise, we cannot be attractive on our own. This Shakti is situated like an empress in the middle of a lotus, whose 8 petals are the 8 Shaktis: Vimala, Utkarshini, Jnana, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Prakri, Satya, and Ishani. Attaining the power to taste completely the beauty, fragrance. So, in order to appreciate the Lord, we still need the Lord's mercy. So attaining the power to taste completely the beauty, fragrance, etc. of the Lord, and tasting each one, the devotee ascends to higher and higher peaks of astonishing experience. His heart melts on incessant realization of the Lord's unheard, of the Lord's of the mercy of the Lord. Okay, the Lord, displaying His wonderful nature, says, "O best of devotees, many birds you have given up wife, house, and wealth for the sake of my service. You endured the miseries of cold, wind, hunger, thirst, and pain, tolerated the contempt of other men, taking to a life of begging." Again, that's the price we have to pay. We cannot be ordinary persons and the acharya at the same time. That's what it takes. Srila Prabhupada did it. The great devotees did it. So,
of course, someone may say, well, wait a minute. Are we at all able to do something like that? Maybe someone like Srila Prabhupada is able, but what about us?
We are, because we are spirit souls, devotees of Krishna by nature. Anyway.
So we can dedicate our life to service of Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah, just like what you said just before, that we can, to give everything to Krishna and nothing for ourselves. And this is the bhava. So in this sense, we can, although we might not be like the gopis, like the advanced devotees, but we can take, we can be inspired by their example. We might be in a different style bhava.
But we can get their mercy by entering this mood, proper mood.
Therefore, devotees like Bhishma, for example, in first canto, Bhishma on his deathbed, he glorifies the gopis.
And he is not in the Rasa.
No, not at all. And it's not that now he wants to become a gopi. No, he appreciates the most advanced devotees. What he appreciates their surrender, just like
selflessness, selfless service.
So we should also follow this example. So, you endured the miseries of cold, wind, hunger, thirst, and pain, tolerated the contempt of other men, taking to a life of begging. In payment for all your sacrifice, I cannot give you anything. I have become your debtor. Since lordship over the whole earth in the post of demigod and mystic powers are unsuitable for you, how can I give them to you? One cannot give grass and straw, the enjoyment of cows, to a spiritual personality such as you. Though I'm unconquerable, today I have been conquered by you. I'm taking shelter of the creeper of your gentleness, of your mercy. Just like when Krishna wanted to reward Sudama, Brahmana Sudama, he didn't give all this wealth and riches to him directly. And Sudama had to go home, and only then he found out
why
the wealth that Krishna gave him. Why? Because Krishna was ashamed, just like here he says. He was ashamed that he thought, well, my devotee is such a pure devotee, and he's such a wonderful devotee, and I can only give him as a reciprocation. I can only give him the treasures of Indra and Brahma and all the demigods. It's shameful.
It's not on the same level.
Yeah. So out of shame, Krishna didn't give him all these things personally, but Sudama Vipra found out about this later on after he left and went back to his place.
So on this level, Krishna is giving reward to the devotee, and the reward is himself.
Yeah, you can say it, himself.
That's the wealth that the devotee.
And himself, and also there is a description here how Krishna reveals himself, and he reveals also his abode, his dear devotees. Then the devotees is Srimati Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, the other gopis, the cowherd boys, everybody. So then the devotee replies, it's very nice exchange, we can read. some time, and then Krishna disappears, and the devotee, anxious to see the Lord again, opens his eyes, and not seeing the Lord, he begins to cry. Was I merely dreaming? No, it was not dreaming. I was not dreaming because I have neither contamination in my eyes from sleep. Was it some hallucination? No, for hallucination could never, because a hallucination could never give real bliss. Or was it from some defect in the mind? No, because all the symptoms of unsteady mind are absent. Was it the fulfillment of some material desire? No, no material fancy could ever approach what I have seen. Anyway, so he goes on like this, and then he starts to feel separation from the Lord, just like Mahaprabhu when he was awakened from this dream, when he saw the Lord, then he was very unhappy. And like this.
He's begging for mercy.
Yeah. All right, so I think we should stop here and just pray to the Lord and to the devotees
and go back to the nitty-gritty level.
To one day to come closer at least, and to be able to at least appreciate all these exalted topics. And with this, our seminar is coming to an end. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande. Hare Bol.
Thank you so much, Prabhus. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being such a steady listener. Attentive. Mataji, you are our inspiration.
Hope to see you in the temple soon.
Yes, I'll be there for Ratha Yatra. Krishna willing.
Looking forward. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.